I mean, if everybody believes it, if everybody acts on that knowledge, if everybody behaves as though that ideology is accurate, is it a conspiracy? Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast, 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. It's pretty fascinating to me that, as we've all observed, if you walk into some fast food restaurants today, that teenager working behind the counter who's working to pay for their first car, working to pay for their first college classes when they graduate, has been replaced by an ATM machine. An ATM machine that dispenses French fries and Cokes and hamburgers because, well, $15 an hour is a lot of money for somebody who owns a small McDonald's franchise to try to keep making money at. If you've got 40 employees, that's $6,000 an hour. $600 an hour. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of hamburgers you got to be selling because you still got to pay rent and all this other stuff. But if you have provided the service of bringing fast food into the neighborhood, if you have provided the product for people to buy and to sell, does that make you a bad guy because you own the business and you generate a profit and you put a profit in your pocket? See, the challenge in our society today, I believe, is a deep-seated manipulation. And when I say deep-seated, I mean 100 years worth of lies and manipulation. 100 years worth of beating people into the concept that these are the haves and these are the have-nots, and there shall never be a pathway between them. That simply is not true. It's a lie. But it's utilized and used very well to convince the have-nots, those who feel like the reason they don't have is because the haves have taken it all. It's easy to convince them that I'll be on your side, I'll fight for you, I'll help you get what's coming to you by taking it from them and giving it to you. I'll take more of your earning out of their pocket and put it in yours. You won't have to work as much to get more money so that you, working less, can live more like they do. You beginning to see that process? See, the bigger challenge is when we realize that the only gap between the have-nots and the haves, and I don't want this to sound flippant. I understand there are issues, major issues in our world like abuses of power and corruption in our political system and in our business world. There's sex trafficking. There's actual forms of slavery going on today, right now at the end of 2019. I get that. That's not what I'm trying to address in this particular video. What I am trying to address is the mindset that says, not only do I not have what this wealthy guy has or this wealthy lady has, but I feel like the reason I don't have is because they do have, and it's their fault that I don't have. And I would rather wait for them to redistribute what they do have so that I can have than to figure out how I can bridge the gap from have-not to have. You following me? See, there are a whole lot of people who don't have, but they have all of the ability. They don't have the wealth, but they do have all of the opportunity. They don't have the wealth, but they have all of the resources and all of the knowledge, but they don't have the will to go get it. To get up every day, to do the work, to drive to the job, to put in the effort. How do I know this? Because I've watched documentary after documentary of everything from drug lords to sex trafficking to business entrepreneurs. I've watched videos of guys who now have their own show on Netflix who started off with one car, detailing this one car, and then doing the touch-up paints on this one car, and then getting the stains out of this carpet of this one car, and now they have their own restoration unit or their own automotive customization shop and a show on Netflix to boot. Because they put their back into what they believed they were passionate about, and they just kept doing it until they got really, really good at it, and then the world gathered around to watch them do it. Now, these weren't people who started with $1 million in the bank. These aren't people who started with a silver spoon in their mouth or their life on a red carpet. These are people who are willing to say, I won't sit idly by and wait for someone else's wealth to accidentally fall in my lap. I'm going to go get it myself. I'm not going to stand in line at the welfare office. I'm not going to wait for somebody else to send me a check. I'm going to get up and go do the work. If I have to, I'll invent the work. I'll find a way to create a job that I don't have right now. But I'm not going to sit idly by and wait for someone else just to randomly send me a check. See, the challenge with this conspiracy theory is that for over 100 years, people have bought into the idea that there's this massive class warfare and that the have-nots will never have what the haves have. And if we don't take from the haves and give it to the have-nots will have nothing ever. And it's a lie. It's a lie perpetrated by a lot of politicians and business owners who realize that if we can manipulate the have-nots just right, we can win their votes and force their cheap labor. Both of those are wrong. We as leaders need to be very clear, especially those of us who coach people individually, to get past the challenges in their life, that opportunity is not done. So long as you're breathing, there's an opportunity for you. And as long as you're breathing and willing, you can create new opportunity that didn't exist yesterday. Just remember, the Wright brothers had no pilot's license, but they were the first one in the air. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.